All right, a couple little known facts. For those of you who have not seen me present before, I am not going to talk for the entire hour. You're going to help me out, so I need your participation. It's very important. You guys cool with that? Also, too, you came right off of lunch, so there's a booth right outside that has candy and coffee if you need a little pickup. I'm here to help you out. A few small, interesting facts about me. I started Willory on October 25th, 2010, which turned out to be my birthday. I turned 46 on Friday. So if anybody's trying to wonder how old I am, I figured I'd just get that out of the way first. I have 2 children, Will and Mallory. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, usually that happens. Will and Mallory, I love them to death. Mallory did offer to skip school today to come because she'd rather do this than go to school. But me being a good parent, I made her go to school. Maybe next time if you have me back. And then last but not least, my claim to fame is I once beat Tiger Woods in a golf tournament. I was 18, he was 16. I feel like I've had a more successful and engaging and likable career than Tiger Woods has. I don't have the same bank account that he does, but I'm okay with that. All right? So now for the participation part, you're going to see throughout my presentation today this little blue screen and a fancy little, they call these memes or GIFs or whatever it is. I can't keep track of all this stuff as my marketing manager is laughing at me. Remember Pam from The Office? All right. I want you to tell me how today is going and what your favorite part is. If you do participate, I will pay you with a cup of coffee from Starbucks as long as it's less than $5. Sometimes that's debatable. What's been your favorite part?
Johnny Taylor.
Johnny Taylor. What was your name?
Beverly.
Beverly. Thank you for coming. See, I'm a man of my word. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Oh, here we go. Now, yeah, oh, all right. Hey, you thought I was full of, I can't say it because it's being videotaped. Yes, your name?
My name is Kim. Just networking. I'm meeting some people and catching up with some old friends.
Kim's looking to network. So there's about 125 people in here, standing room only. Come see Kim throughout the rest of today's and tomorrow's session because she wants to network. What else? That it? I saw a bunch of other hands go up and then now. Okay, all right, cool. So let's get into what we're going to cover. So I have to put this disclaimer up first. I'm going to piss some of you off in the next 55 minutes. I'm going to talk about stuff that HR should not be focused on and worried about. And I'm going to talk about the things that I've seen my clients focus on that I was able to have a small part in their experience in making it better and for them to engage their employees to get the results that they want. And how are we going to do that? I have 3 goals. If you can't tell so far, I like to have fun. I believe, and take this as a tip, if you have to do a training in the future, have fun, engage, make people laugh, participate. Me talking to you for 1 hour would be incredibly boring. Trust me. My kids will validate that when I talk for too much. All right? And I think you learn better when we do that. Next is, I try to do the math that we have some standing room only, so thank you for the people in the back that are sitting on the floor. This is a first for me, so let's give them a round of applause. Have you ever got a round of applause for sitting on the floor before? Probably not. But generally, if my math is right, we got about 2,500 years of HR experience in this room. I have 22. My math tells me that you are a lot smarter than I am. So I want to hear from you guys and want to get your participation. And then last but not least, I want to give you my perspective. It is my perspective only. There's no disclaimer. This is who I am. This is what I do. I have strong opinions about stuff. Doesn't mean I'm always right. Just means this is the path I want to head down. So how are we going to go about doing that? I want to encourage you to think different because bosses, maybe not your boss, but bosses in the frame that we're going to reference it to think differently. And they act and they are different, right? They not only think different, but they take action by being different. And last but not least, bosses take action. When you see this yellow check mark, if you see on this piece of paper here at the bottom, I'm asking you to take action. So by 2 o'clock today, I want something written down here or in your calendar that you're going to do with these great tips and suggestions that you're going to get from either myself or your colleagues so that when you leave PHRA, you can tell Liz that I learned something in this event and I'm taking it back to my employer. I'm going to make things better. Fair? So look out for the yellow. Why is this so important? We have record unemployment. We have the most unique political climate that we've ever experienced. And it's going to get worse between now and November 2020, right? In addition to that, we have almost 50% of you are feeling the talent shortage. You can't find good people to fill the positions within your company. Not to mention the fact that we have this unique baby boomer retirement and millennial, Gen Z, Gen Y, everybody coming in. We've got this unique thing going on, plus all of the regulatory compliance stuff, which I'm not here to go into details about FLSA and FMLA. I'm really focused on trying to help you look at your job and your organization, your department as a business, okay? So you as an HR professional are pulled in two different directions. We have the got to do my job well, got to take care of my boss's requirements, got to do all the fill in the blank stuff that my job requires, and then you got your grandma, your mom, your kids, your extracurricular activities pulling you in a different direction, and you feel like you're bouncing around like a ping pong ball. Anybody feel that way? Okay, I got some heads nodding. All right, so the data is telling us the same thing. A third of you are saying you're having a much harder time managing your time and your schedule. And 50% of you are saying you're working harder. Working hard is great, but is it sustainable long term? I don't think so. We want to work smarter. So the idea is to help us become an HR leader like a boss. And I thought, just for the sake of making sure that we have a baseline for this, that I would define each of these. And this is pretty comical, right? So we're going to define HR. I need participation. Again, as those that have already participated will find out, I will pay you with a cup of coffee. Who would like to read the definition according to a very valid source of the Cambridge English Dictionary? Because you're going to laugh. All the way in the back, yes. Please read loudly.
The department in a company that is responsible for dealing with employees, for example, by employing them, training them, dealing with their problems, and managing their records.
Isn't that's it, right? That's all you do. You deal with their problems and you manage their records. Is it their like Bruce Springsteen albums? Is that what we're talking about? Right? Now here is my corny John Bernatovicz definition. I believe HR is about connecting people with your organization. Right? It's about connecting people to your organization. Now for the definition of a boss. Let's go up front. Who wants to read off the definition of a boss? Another super reliable source, the Urban Dictionary. So it's debatable which one would you rely on more. I saw your hand raised. What's your name?
Jen.
Jen, stand up. Be loud.
Thank you. Boss. A person who knows what he or she wants, knows how to get what he wants, and gets it when he wants. A boss does not settle for less than he or she is worthy of. The boss is incredibly awesome, miraculous, and great. They literally demand respect. All of their actions are aimed at consolidating their place as the top dog, and these actions are conducted in the smoothest manner.
Yeah, right. All right, so let's for a moment, right, take it one next level. Doing something like a boss is doing it amazing or awesome. And are you connecting your people to your organization amazingly? Uh-oh, silence. Wait for it. Trying, I love it. That's great. Trying is great. I'm going to give you some pointers, some suggestions, some years of experience to help you become amazing, to help you become awesome sauce, to help you become Bruce Springsteen of HR. I don't know who gave him the name of the boss, but I think he's really rad just because he has that name and he's a killer performer, right? So let's do this. Participation pays. Take literally 1 second to think about when you hear the word boss as the definition just a few slides ago. Who's someone you know that is a boss? Your son. Nice. How come?
He's the littlest, bossiest thing, but he does it, and he's very smooth, and he's charming, and he gets exactly what he wants.
Nice. All right. What was your name? Shannon. Thank you. What else? Come on. That was really sweet. Come on, Pittsburgh people.
My president?
Your president?
Yeah.
Is he here?
No.
Or she?
Nope.
Okay. I was just making sure you weren't kissing up.
No.
All right. What makes him a boss?
He basically takes people's thoughts
He's just a good leader.
Yeah.
He's awesome. He's
Yeah.
awesome. Next time you see him, tell him he's awesome sauce.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I don't know if I go that far, but he's amazing. Who else? Let's go.
My boss, she is amazing.
All right. Nice. All right. Okay, good. Nice. Nice. I love it. Well, she read the definition. She was like, yeah, that's, oh, you took her breath away. All right. Fantastic. We're making progress. We're talking about our kids, our bosses. Anybody else? Your husband. Jeez Louise, these are all so personal. I usually get like, I don't know, Mick Jagger or, somebody else. No, not Mick Jagger. Bad.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not always lost. If you want to, I say you can sell ice water, like you can sell ice water, for example, or whatever you're saying.
To an Eskimo, I think it is. That's okay.
Yeah, he's really good at convincing anybody of anything to get people to come along.
All right, one more. Thank you. Sounds like a great guy. No one else? Okay, we'll move on. All right, so first and foremost, we need to think differently. But we got to talk about the elephant in the room. And oh my God, there's actually an elephant in the room. This is Bridget, my marketing manager. I did not pay her to do this. Well, actually, you're deflating. Okay. Oh no, that's it. Let's give a round of applause for Bridget. Yes. Right? She's the boss. All right, so the elephant in the room. How many of you had an employee step into your office and has this look on their eye because you screwed up their benefits, or they don't have coverage when they took their newborn baby to their pediatrician, or they want a pay raise, or something really bad happened with their manager and they want to blame you for it, or you can feel that on the phone when they just have this vengeance and they are just pissed. How many of you felt this? Double hands in the back. Yes. Do you know how long it took me to find this slide on the internet? Literally 0.11 second. And there were 14 other versions of it, but this one I thought went best with my presentation. People hate HR. This is the part where you're going to hate me for a little bit. People hate HR. Some do. Not all, right? I'm not talking at a broad stroke in everyone. Some people hate HR. So I want to understand why. So for the next minute, I want you to talk amongst yourself. I'm going to turn a Bruce Springsteen song back on. I want you to talk to your colleagues just for 1 minute, and then we're going to have a little round table about why people hate HR. All right, let's go for it. All right. All of the other concurrent sessions are like, why in the hell am I not in that room? What are they doing? They're having way too much fun. You guys were really, really getting into this. I had to take a video, right? I'm going to post this on social media. What it looks like when I ask a crowd of 200 people why they hate HR, right? So, all right, let's have at it. I got a bunch of gift certificates to give away. Let me turn down the music. Hey.
The boss does what he wants.
Okay. What's that?
I said the boss just does what he wants.
He does.
Yeah.
I'm just going to unplug the boss. Get out of here, boss. Okay. You got something? For the I hate HR. Okay, go ahead.
Employees think we're the policy police.
Policy police. Oh, man. Boo. Yes.
We're an easy scapegoat for managers.
Easy scapegoat for man. They blame you, right? Here we go.
Hardly relevant.
Hardly relevant. Oh, that. Oh, man, that hurts. It's real. Go ahead.
Is it 5? Okay.
We're there for the machine. The machine of the. Yes. Go ahead.
Kind of a preconceived notion or just a stereotype that HR is bad.
Stereotype of HR is bad.
HR always says no. We're like no people.
You're like no, like you know. Not that you like no, K-N-O-Y, but you know, like no. Okay. Yes.
HR raised the cost of my benefits.
Oh, yes. Yeah. We can talk about that at a separate time. HR raised my cost of benefits. We don't trust you. I hate that I don't trust you. Yes.
HR isn't value added.
HR is not value added.
We don't know what HR does.
Bridget, you ready? I ran out. Yes. She's responsible for giving you the $5 gift cards. I only brought 50, so I didn't realize you got to be this participant. participatory, so I might run out. Yes?
Or glorified therapist.
Glorified therapist, right? Well, you deal with their problems, right? And you take care of their records and their albums. Yes?
Say like we're a non-revenue producing
Cost center.
department.
Cost center. Yes, your overhead. Yes. Bottleneck. We enforce the rules. I got you. I'm coming. Yes. Yes. All you do is fire people in the back. Oh, supervisor documentation, so I can fire you, right? Yes. Fun killers. This is fun, right? This is fun.
People are intrinsically selfish, and so therefore HR tends to interfere by telling them no when they want to do something.
Yeah, very good. I'm with you. What's your name? Amy. Let's talk about that later. People are intrinsically lazy, and they blame HR for that because of holding them accountable to not being lazy.
We're the reason they didn't get the promotion or the raise.
Didn't get the raise or the promotion. Last one.
HR did something to my health benefits that I don't understand, but somehow we did it.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's our fault.
Yes. Sharon, last but not least.
Well, we're always the messenger of bad news.
Yes. Or part of it, right? You guys you obviously feel this, right? That exercise, like it took me 2 minutes to tell you guys to shut up, right? Let's get back to the presentation. I know you want to be done at 2 o'clock. So thank you all very much for sharing. Very interesting perspective, and I know that sucks. I know that sucks to have the end user that you're touching base with and trying to help and support feel that way about you. So let's talk about a few ways that we can change that. Number one, if you can do something about that, do it. If you can do something about that way that people feel about you, do it. If you can't, you got to change your attitude. Simple as that. My son sometimes does not like going to soccer practice, and I told him, we're going to soccer practice, you got to change your mindset. We signed up for this, we're doing it, and this is what we committed to. Okay, Dad. Then he goes, and an hour later in practice, he's having a ball. Right? He's 11, he hasn't figured it all out yet, but we have to change our mindset if we don't think we like what's going on or the persona that people feel. And it's you that can change that. Why can it not be the human resource professional? You are at the center of the epicenter of your organization's culture and values. HR should be holding true to those things, and you manage and own that from my perspective. And I think we can go to the next level. And I want you to imagine, if you'd like, participate with me. I got my eyes closed. I'll stop walking so I don't run into anybody. Imagine a harmonious, collaborative organization that is profitable, has a competent and engaged leadership team, has employees and managers, very important managers, that get what they're supposed to do and do it in an emotionally intelligent way, and that you're making profit. People are happy and engaged and are rowing in the same direction. Can you imagine that? It is possible, and it does happen with organizations. I know it's hard. But it can be done. I've seen it. And oftentimes, HR is right at the center of it, as opposed to being a cost center or stuck over here being unfun. They're at the center of it. So if you feel like, and I'm going to say it, and I'm sorry, you don't have a seat at the table, go get your ass on that table. Go find your way in there and add value to the appropriate people within your leadership group so they see the value of human resources. You cannot depend upon what other personalities, stigmas, and things that people felt before you got there. You can only change what is ahead. And if somebody says, I'm just used to doing things this way, well, you know what? Maybe you're not right for here. Because I'm not ready to do things the way things were before. We got to change things because I know it can be easier, more efficient and effective, and I don't want to work 60 hours a week because you think I'm supposed to. I want to work 40 and have spent time with my family so that we can do this right. You with me? All right. So, who doesn't like Leonardo DiCaprio? For the ladies especially, normally you like Leonardo DiCaprio. This is all up to you, in my opinion. So it all starts here. This is the most difficult thing that I feel like I, as an executive and a true supporter and I don't have the title of Chief Human Resource Officer in my company, but sometimes I feel it as the owner. I have to balance the needs of my company, which is keeping everyone within our group employed, paying them, enriching them, training them, and developing them, to balance the individual needs that were mentioned, sometimes selfish. I need a raise because I need to buy a house, or I need this, or I need that. It's a tremendous balance. And here's that elephant again, right? You sometimes feel like this when you've got someone within your organization jonesing on you for something. At the same time, you realize, well, I can't do what you want. How do we find a way to bridge that gap? So you have to balance those things, and I highly recommend that you read Crucial Conversations and Emotional Intelligence 2.0. If you haven't read either one of those recently, they will help you navigate through very difficult conversations that you have to face within your organization. Crucial Conversations and Emotional Intelligence 2. Next, please consider treating your job, your department, like its own business. There's a gentleman that's on CNBC. He's getting very, very popular. He once dated the woman that invented Skinny Margarita. She was on the Real Housewives. Yeah, Bethany. He dated her for like a hot minute, right? That was like really some big stuff in my family, because my wife loves Bethany and I love Marcus Simonis, and we were going to find a way to go to their wedding if they got married, but we wouldn't get invited. So he does this show. He goes into small, medium-sized companies, and he basically kind of tears them down and says, you suck at this, you're great at that, you got to go, and I'm in charge. You've got this company where it is today, I'm going to take it to the next level. And he focuses on 3 things. People. It's the number one thing he focuses on, people. He's not an HR executive, he's a business owner. Process and product. People, process, and product. And then he wraps culture around that to make sure that it all fits right and is harmonious. That kind of rowing in the same direction. In addition to that, I feel like all of us, and if you're staying here tonight at this conference at this beautiful hotel, I would encourage you to do what Warren Buffett does. Did you know Warren Buffett spends 80% of his day reading? It's debatable if he has an email address. He's the 5th most wealthy person in the world, right? If it wasn't for Bezos and Zuckerberg starting these unique companies, he'd probably be top of the list. He spends 80% of his time reading and thinking. How many of you have devoted time in your schedule to think? I got 1. I got 1.5. Right? There's 150 people in here. So here's the first yellow check mark. Please put on your calendar or on your sheet of paper, or both if you want to be an overachiever, 30 minutes silently somewhere other than in your office, to not be distracted, just to stop and think about all the things you heard everybody say why they hate HR and how can I make it better. We got to stop and think. Next, we have to put our minds and our thoughts and get inside the mental capacity of our CEO and try to figure out what she or he is thinking about. Uh-oh. That's a... Now, yeah, now, okay. Appropriately about your business, not necessarily about something that maybe he or she shouldn't be thinking about. So I don't want to cause any alarm. We want to think about what is driving them every single day, right? So participation pays again. Bridget's going to give out some more gift cards. What is your CEO's number one priority? Oh, we got you. Say it loud. Say it. Let's stand up and say it loud. It's okay. He's not here, I don't think, or she. He's not here. Okay. His number one priority is himself. Okay, that's real. You got to navigate that in HR. Let's go. We got some more. Serving the customer. Okay, I got a bunch. Go. Profit. Investing in people. Wonderful. Revenue. Shareholders. Talent retention. Living our values. 2 more. Meet your mission collaboratively and collectively. Building his own reputation. So we'll end on a bad one. Start with a bad one, right? Everything in between felt okay. I'll get to you in a minute. I'm sorry I can't get to everybody. We'll be here past 2. And I always know to get you out on time, right? I'd love to hear about the ideas, the other ones that you have. So here's the thing. The number one thing, according to Gartner, on CEOs' minds, 40% is around growth, and then there's 10% on sales. So basically 50% of you, or 50% of CEOs are thinking about growing their company. Pretty cool that they're driving to their mission. They're trying to improve their employees. That's the result is the growth because of what the employees are doing, right? When we focus sometimes too much on growth and the number, you lose sight, you make short-sighted decisions about things that maybe aren't good for the business. However, we got to realize this is what they care about. Now, if you're in a situation where it's all about him or her, then there's ways to navigate through that. I'd be happy to give you my card to give you some suggestions on that, okay? So they care about growth. Why do they care about growth? Money. Creates jobs. Market share. Legacy. Did you realize? I love that one. It's just like out of nowhere. I feel like somebody they get these kids to do it, and they do it like 16 times. They finally get one take, and then they make these GIFs or memes. What are these GIFs? They're GIFs. Okay, all right. They're not memes. Okay. All right. So, sorry, Bridget, I threw you off. I'm trying to keep on time. Here, in my opinion, is the number one reason why I, as a CEO, care about growth. The more that my company grows, and if I grow it in an effective way that's reasonable to profit, my business is more valuable. And if you work, although there's a shift happening, if you work within a publicly traded company or one that's owned by a PE firm or even within a nonprofit, that growth allows your CEO options to sell, to reinvest, to hire more people. Because when we're heading in a different direction, for those of you that were part of the Great Recession, we know what that felt like, the impact on HR. Okay, so the idea is the higher your EBITDA is, the more valuable your business is. And if you're publicly traded, that's the number one thing that a CEO is responsible for, shareholder value. You can spin it any way they want to. It's around driving shareholder value. So when they're saying to you, I need to drive revenue, I need to see a higher gross profit, I need to drive down cost, this is why. Because that makes our business, our company more valuable. And you can hate on him or her if you want, but if they're a sole owner, that's responsibility. That is their legacy. That is their nest egg. And you, as an executive, as an HR professional, maybe as a shareholder or an owner or not, that's the direction that you're heading. That's what they're trying to do. So that's the balance. CEO wants growth because he wants value, and my employees want to make sure their benefits are right and are affordable, and they understand where they're going. So how do we marry those things together, right? You got to look at it like a business. Those are your challenges, right? This is where I'm going. These are the people that are doing it. How can I bridge that gap? Okay? So I recommend, as a part of that, to study your company. Another blue screen. You guys got it. Know your customers, know your employees, know your suppliers. Get to know the intimate parts within your business that maybe you don't know. Here's another to-do. There's probably something within your organization that you're like, if they ask you about your supply chain, you're like, next subject, or IT. If you don't know enough about it, take that executive that owns that department out to lunch or a cup of coffee and just say, help me understand your department, your business. What are your challenges? What's working well? And how can we in HR make it better? And do that until you feel like you got them all covered. Because a lot of times, what I love to hear, and the most successful HR professionals that I work with will tell me, I'm a business person first, and I just so happen to practice HR. I'm in essence not an HR professional that's in a business. They have it flipped around a little bit differently in their mind. All right? Then we need to strategize on growth and profitability. Why? Because that's what the CEO is driving down to you. The proverbial fill in the blank falls downhill. So we need to strategize, how can we grow? How can we make it easier for my CEO and our leadership team to acquire companies? It's a strategy. How can we ensure that we're growing organically and getting into the right markets to serve our employee population and our shareholders? And then from a profitability standpoint, how can we ensure that our employees' activities are tied to their pay and their bonuses so we can get them to do the things that work out well for the business well and will give you some more money if you do it? And if by chance you don't do those well, then we'll have a different discussion. And I don't think that discussion should come from HR first, second, third, or fourth. It should come from the manager, and we'll get to that in a minute. All right? It's about understanding what makes the company profitable, and let's do those things more often and make sure the employees understand how to do those things and their impact. Employees will tell me that HR is not on my side, and I don't know what I'm doing that aligns to the vision of the company. And in my opinion, HR has a huge impact on that. All right? They want to see the money, right? And that opportunity is up to you to create it. Next, this part can be touchy. And I don't know if all of you right now show all your financials. I have a privately held company. I'm 100% the owner. In the last year and a half, it took me about 6-7 years to feel comfortable to show the financials to my employees. I felt like I had to hide it from them. No, look at this. This is my business, right? But over time, I've begun to share and educate them on what does revenue mean, what's cost of goods sold, how does that align to gross profit, what are our expenses, and what does that mean to EBITDA? When I said the word EBITDA for the first time, they were like, what the heck is EBITDA, right? But get to know that and make sure your employees understand it. Educate them on your financial statements if you can. Now, we've thought differently. We're switching gears to being different, okay? I'm going to put more Bruce Springsteen music on. You guys have to, in 1 minute, when I get back to talk, we got to calm down, right? So I want you to think about what can HR do to be different, to align to the things we talked about before. Go for it. All right, let's go. PHRA is having an after party today at 5 to 6:30. Go there and keep talking about this stuff if you want over a drink. All right, who wants to go next? How can HR be different to solve the problems that we talked about in the first 35 minutes of today's presentation? Your name? Lindsay.
Encourage recognition and build a baseline of positive trust.
Awesome. Recognition and positive trust.
Align HR strategic plan with the corporate strategic plan.
Yes! You stole one of my slides. It's coming soon. Nice job. Yes?
Just show the added value of HR services, which is always looked at as a support service department, whereas the value would be in quality of employees and reduced turnover and employee engagement. You actually add profitability.
Yes, show added value of how HR is impacting the bottom line is what I heard. Yes?
FaceTime one-on-one with employees. I'm with a small company, and to me, my motto is they don't know. If they don't know, they don't trust.
One-on-one time. Build a relationship with your employees so you create trust.
You mentioned communication.
Communication.
Cross-departmental.
Cross-departmental communication. Anyone else? Yes?
Don't hire people with the resume. Hire the people who are a cultural fit.
Yes. Yes. As someone that has placed hundreds of HR professionals, it's about 8 out of 10 that companies are only interested in the line items on the job description. They got to have ADP Workforce Now experience. Well, I've got this great person who I've worked with for 15 years, and she's had these credentials. She's used Ceridian and AltiPro and Centric. No, don't want to talk to her. She's great.
You hire her for the skill, and she's going to lead you with the behaviors.
Yes, absolutely. All right, cool. You guys are good. All right, so here's the deal. Your HR fundamentals, the stuff I talked about, benefits, compensation, employee recognition, all that stuff is assumed. Your CEO assumes that you know how to do that, right? If you don't know how to do it, you need to grow or go. And what do I mean by that? Is that if you're not running toward the things that you have to do within HR, if you're not running toward coming to these events and you're just not here to kind of check off the mark to make sure you keep your SPHR or other things. I know some of you are smiling because that's why you're here. It's all good. It's all good. I have employees that work for me that have those credentials and are like, oh, shit, I got to go to a conference, which is the one with the most. If you're not running toward that, get out of the field. Don't do it anymore because it's a pain in the neck to have to deal with all this. You guys had a litany of things that we talked about that sucks about HR, right? And those things are not going to go away easily. So either grow or go. So know your poop emoji. Know your poop emoji. I was once told to never use a curse word in a presentation because it might come back, but this is okay, right? Can we use the poop emoji? And it is vogue, like Madonna, to know what you're doing. Now, some of you, I did this once, and somebody had a problem with Madonna, and that's okay, right? But vogue and know what you're, that's why I did it, so just so you understand. Okay, do your job well. Anybody here a football fan? Go Steelers. Oh, shoot. Did I just say that out loud? I'm from Cleveland. I'm not supposed to say that. Sorry. I was going perfectly well, and then I said, go Steelers out twice. Oh, God. You hear Bill Belichick preach this all the time, right? Do your job well. At the end of the day, what you're measured by are your results. That's it. Your results might be to engage your employees. Your results might be to align them to your core values. Your job might be to manage your benefits department to save money or provide compelling benefits so they stay. But do your job and do it well, because the people that don't end up staying with your organization normally aren't aligning to your core values and they're not getting results. And if they're not, it needs to be abundantly clear to them that they're not, and you have a strategy to either coach them up or coach them out. Simple as that. And if you take that approach to how you manage them, you're going to get the occasional employee that's not going to get it, but it's abundantly clear to them that they know I'm not doing one or two of those things well. When they don't do both of them well, they're not a cultural fit, they're not aligned to the core values, and the results are off. What are we doing this for? Because that's how your CEO's looking at them. Understood? Manage the distractions. We get a lot of fun with this. Ever been in a meeting like this? Did you know that 31 hours a month are wasted in meetings? 31 hours a month are wasted in meetings. My math tells me that's really close to 1 week. So basically, you're losing about 20% of your productivity of your employees in too many meetings. You and HR have a handle on that. You can have an impact on managing the many meetings you have. Did you realize 9 out of 10 people that are in the meeting, and I'm hoping none of you are doing any of these, are daydreaming? 40% of you are going to fall asleep. None of you have fallen asleep yet. I am watching the people on the floor because it's kind of comfortable. All right, look at the data. People don't like meetings, so make them compelling. More often than not, at the very least, they're going to feel overwhelmed or complain about them. Oh. I'm a CEO. I do top to bottom stuff within my firm. I hate email. I hate email. I can't keep up with it. People expect it. We use it too often. 36 times an hour you check your email. Gross, right? How is that adding value to your employees by checking your email so often? It's not. Sometimes feel like this? Multitasker? Who's good at multitasking? Did you realize that multitasking is not good? It's not good for your brain. It's a proven fact. It's okay if you are and you try and you're good at it, because my wife tells me that men can't multitask, but she can, and I'm not going to argue with her because I know I can't multitask. I don't want to debate that she can't multitask, so another subject. 25% more time to get things done when you're multitasking. You're 40% less productive, and you're not doing things in a one-at-a-time approach. That's why I suggested early on in my presentation to stop and think. And while you're thinking, turn your phone off. Be in a room where no one's around. Serenity now. I'm just thinking about what can I do to make my HR department, my job, and what I'm doing better. Next is to create clarity. When we have clarity, things all fall into place. I guarantee you there are things within your organization that are not clear. If it's not clear to you, who's it not clear to? Your managers, and then your employees. So then what's going to happen? It's not going to get done right, and your CEO is, he or she's 3 years ahead of where you are. And you're stuck not executing on the things that aren't clear. So, next to do on your calendar. Let's write out something that in your mind you know is not clear within your organization. You know it's confusing to the people that you work with. They don't know what it means, how to process a service complaint. They don't understand the dynamic of your supply chain or some component of it. Something with your IT systems are off, right? Something's not clear. Help that manager make it clear. And I promise you, you'll have improved results. And in doing so, ask for the feedback of the people that are doing it. Collaborate on our priorities. We had mentioned this before. You stole my thunder back here. I can't remember. Is it Christine? Yes. Yeah. We had lunch together, and I told her what this slide was. I'm lying, just fibbing. I read a book recently that changed my life as a business owner called Scaling Up. Its pair is something called Traction, or EOS. Scaling Up is written by a guy named Vern Harnish. He really thinks he's awesome, and he works at MIT, and he's helped out nearly 50,000 companies scale their business. And why is this important? Why am I sharing this with you? In a recent management meeting with my team, which we've had steady growth, but we reached a point where we're like, I looked at our management team and I said, who in this room has scaled a business from where we are today to where we want to go? And the hands all went down. So I quickly realized we have an issue that my team, including me, do not know how to take our business from where we are to the next level. So I read this book called Scaling Up, and I poured myself into it. I felt like it was written for me. It's very textbook oriented, so if you read it, you might not have the same vibe I do. They really aligned. Let's make sure they didn't like a mission, they want a purpose. What's the purpose of our organization? The purpose for Willory is to empower people. We want to empower people. They ask really not necessarily a vision, but they want a BHAG. Where are you going down the road? We set a defined gross margin number and a way by which we're going to do it by distinctly dominating the areas that we focus in, even though we're a small little company that could. And then last but not least, from an HR standpoint, we redefined our values because this is the line in the sand. These are our rules of engagement. If you cross over these values, we're going to talk about it. If you keep doing it, you're not going to be here. Because those values are what other people within my organization want. In the book, it talks about one really distinct thing that I'll share with you. A players want to work with other A players. If you have a bunch of A players and some people that aren't A players, those A players are maybe going to be like, why are we keeping Joe around? Why did we hire Cindy? A players want A players. Seek feedback from everyone. The book talks about customer feedback, getting input from your employees. They talk about having a conversation called stop, start, and continue. What should we stop doing? What should we start doing? And what should we continue? I cannot tell you in 3 months, us doing that, the impact it has had on the intelligence that we've gotten from our employees. And we're going to start doing the same thing with our customers. We're a little 40-employee company in Cleveland, Ohio, and we're just trying to do the best work that we can. Sometimes we lost sight of just kind of getting thrown in the midst of it, right? Don't take what they say personally. Do not take what they say personally. If somebody tells you something that's bad about HR, is bad about you, is bad about the company, compliment by saying, thank you for sharing. That's a main cog in the crucial conversations concept. You and HR need to create safety for your employees to be willing to share things with you, and when they do, you need to applaud them for that. Because at the end of the day, you want to stay in dialogue with them so that they can just get off their chest what they need to get off their chest, and you either help them, but you don't have to own everything they say. If somebody says HR sucks because of what two people did before you, that's not on you. You can just sit there in dialogue Make sure we're having good forms of communication with them so that they can continue to come back to you because they're the ones doing the work, right? Working on the line, serving your employees in customer service, selling your services out to those pesky prospects that don't want to buy, right? Listen to them and thank them for sharing it. But, it says own it. You don't have to own all of it, all right? It's a key component within being able to have dialogue. This is a big one for me, and I'm coming up on 10 minutes, I think, right? 8, okay. Coach your managers. Having an effective management team and then an executive leadership team. In the book that I read, it talked about the 10 Rockefeller habits that John D. Rockefeller built Standard Oil around 100 years ago. And the number one thing on his list that you had to have is a functional and collaborative executive team. If you do not have that, guess what happens? Right? So then your managers need to be coached. So let's make sure we hire great managers, internal or external. Let's train them, let's coach them, let's give them the tools that they need. Let's make sure their metrics that they need to hit are clear and defined. They're measurable, and we're showing them those metrics as consistently as we can. And here's my last participation. Does anybody think that accountability is a 4-letter word? I cannot tell you how many people in our journey over the last 2 or 3 years that accountability has been a struggle. But holding someone accountable the right way can be incredibly impactful and powerful to them because the people that work with you, the majority of them want to get better. They want to do their job well, and they see value in what it is they do. Sometimes they're just lost in the path, and they need clear direction and insight. And again, the manager should be doing this, but who should be helping them? HR. You see a manager that sucks, go meet with them and figure out what's going on. It may be a personal problem. Their wife might just been diagnosed with cancer, and we don't know what's going on. So let's go find out what the deal is, right? So we can help them and coach them up. Participation pays. Oh, someone said, she raised her hand, that accountability is a 4-letter word. Beth, that's what you get for Starbucks gift card.
My favorite place to go. Thank you.
It is? Okay. Sorry, it's only one. Maybe you can get more than one. Okay. Trust your gut. Scrooge McDuck. I always forget the name. If it walks like a duck, and it looks like a duck, and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. In your heart of hearts, you know that a manager is not good at what he or she does. Go to your senior leadership and talk about it and address it. And again, identify the issues, coach him or her up or out. Right? Trust your gut because it's ahead of your head. It knows better than your head does. Sometimes we emotionally kind of get caught up in the sympathetic part of it, or I'm going to hurt his feelings, or maybe I'm worried about the impact of his job, whatever else. More times than not, they want this. They need your help. Every once in a while, they'll be completely defiant and a total you-know-what. But you need to figure out why. Why are you resisting this so much? All I'm trying to do here is help you. Because by helping you, we're going to get better results for the organization. Find someone that you know in your gut needs to be addressed or something within your company and come up with a strategy to figure that out. Okay? Emotionally intelligent directness. On the left is the greatest power forward to ever play in the NBA, Tim Duncan. On the right is a 5-time NBA championship and the U.S. Olympic basketball team, Greg Popovich. They have what is described as the best relationship of a coach and player in the history of the NBA, because Coach Popovich can tell Tim Duncan, his best player, that you're not playing well enough. And the other teammates around you are not seeing the impact. And they do it in a way where they're sharing it openly. They've created trust. They have respect. And they're doing it in a way that's emotionally intelligent. All right? So make sure you're doing things in that regard in emotional intelligence. Make a plan. Here's the 4 key components within scaling up, and I'll give them credit for it so you guys have it. First and foremost, you need to have an effective strategy. Then your operations within your business need to be running effectively. Your people need to know what that strategy is and how they impact that operation. And then cold, hard cash. Cash allows you to grow your business. You don't want to leverage your line of credit. You don't want to sell your soul so that you can continue to grow your business. And then share these ideas with your CEO. Just like that little girl owning it, right? Stay calm and do HR like a boss. We can totally do it, right? Stay calm and do HR like a boss. Here's my promise to you. My contact information is at the bottom of this piece of paper, my phone number, my email. If you'd like to talk about your strategy or game plan to share this with your CEO, please call me, send me a tweet, and I'll be happy to schedule a time to go over whatever your plan is. Just a few more slides. I'll share this with you. I lost my mom on March 1st. She was an incredible artist. This is down, heading down into Asheville where my mom and dad lived. My mom is my inspiration. She allowed me to do this in front of you today, to be creative and different. I can't paint worth a lick, but I think I can do this okay, and I hope I touched a few of you and gave you some good ideas throughout. So keep calm and wrap it up. If you're going to do 3 things I told you, run your department and job like a business, take time to think, and last but not least, coach those managers up. All right? Thank you very much for your time. Have a great day.